My name is James Bridgeforth. I'm a young and very successful investor, and you've heard it many times that you can't outperform the S&P 500. But what if I told you that that's not only wrong, but it's costing you millions? If you invested in just 3 specific stocks just a few years ago, you'd be on your way to 7 figures. The first stock I want to touch on is an AI technology company who's best known for its work in national security. And if you watch my last video where I touched on the big beautiful bill and what this means, then you know that in that video I touched on how the United States with this bill is going to add $2 trillion into debt. And I told you exactly why the reasons are that you're not getting rich. But I also want to touch on in this video how you can benefit directly from this bill. And in that bill, it actually talks about directly on the exact investments that the United States is going to be focusing and allocating their money towards. And one of those was the military and national security. And that can be very important for Palantir because Palantir is a national security AI technology company who is known for its works that is performed in the Ukraine and Russian war. So, because Palantir is a national security company that's based in AI, one, AI is for the future. Everybody wants to get in before AI eventually takes off the same way that they wanted to get in before the technology boom of the 2000s. So AI is well coveted and it's looked to grow in the future. And then we also have national security, which the government is allocating funds towards. So Palantir is going to start earning more and more government contracts, which is going to bring in more revenue to the company. And it's going to grow faster than it ever has before. And Palantir isn't a company that just came out of nowhere. I remember buying Palantir at $8 per share and swing trading it whenever it got to $20 per share. I would buy all my shares at 8 and sell when it got to around 20 or 25. But I also decided to hold some of my shares for the long term, and I was able to benefit greatly from this the same way that you can. Palantir is currently sitting at $138. It went all the way from $8 to $138. This is a major gain that you could have benefited from. But don't worry, the news and everything that is coming out surrounding this company with AI and national security money allocation, I believe that Palantir will soon be able to continue on this growth trajectory that has been able to captivate over the last couple of years. So don't worry, Palantir is definitely a company that you should consider adding to your portfolio, and this is something that you should continue to evaluate and keep an eye on. The second stock I want to cover is actually going to be Tesla, and Tesla is one of the best companies to invest in at the moment and even for the future. Tesla solely focuses on electric vehicles, and they're actually the only electric vehicle company that has been profitable so far. But Tesla is actually going to be very beneficial for investors that are able to buy and hold and wait for the long term because they're one of the most innovative and creative companies in the market. Tesla is focusing on automated vehicles, so the way it's going to work is they're basically going to have self-driving taxis, or it's the same way that you have Uber. You can look at other companies like Waymo, that's ran by Google, and you can see that they have automated self-driving taxis. You can see these probably on the West Coast, somewhere out in San Francisco, but it is a thing. Automated taxis are going to soon take over the marketplace. So the same way that Google and Waymo are doing it is what Tesla is trying to implement, but at a much larger and better scale. Another thing that Tesla is doing is that they're focusing on robotics. So Tesla is focusing on having robots or AI companions that are able to do simple tasks around the house for you. So if you looked at the previous videos where Tesla had their meetings and they touched on how they're going to actually implement this AI or robot and how it can implement into everyday life. So they have it doing chores, they have it doing casual stuff around the house to where it could be another companion or something that could help you. Now, to many people, this can seem very scary. But if we're in the world of AI, and if you believe in AI the same way you did in the technology boom, and you want to be able to benefit from AI the correct way, then this is a company that you should consider investing in. Because I remember when Tesla was under $200. That was one of my major buying points. I was buying Tesla under $200 when nobody else would touch it because I saw the potential in Tesla. And because I saw that potential, it's actually sitting at $295. So I've been able to benefit from that stock as well. So the first stock I was able to benefit from is Palantir. The second stock is Tesla. And now the third stock I want to cover is actually going to be Nvidia. Nvidia is an AI chip making company who is actually dominating the market and actually owns 90% of the data centers when it comes to AI. Nvidia is going to continue to be one of the greatest companies in the stock market. Nvidia also had major revenue growth in 2024 where it grew 126%. And this is just one reason why Nvidia could be a great company for you to be able to partake in. You see that the revenue is growing last year. Now you can expect that the revenue can grow even the next year and the year after that as AI continues to be implemented into everyday life. The thing with the Nvidia AI chips is that Nvidia actually has more demand than they have supply. So there's more people that are directly demanding these chips and demanding that they get more chips from Nvidia than Nvidia is actually able to dish out. Because of this, when you have a limited supply, but you have such a rush in demand for something, that causes the price to go up, that causes the revenue to go up. When Nvidia is soon able to understand and produce these chips at a mass level, they'll be able to match the demand with the supply, and you'll soon be able to see that Nvidia will soon be able to continue in the upward trajectory that I believe that it would. And I remember when Nvidia was around $100, $200, $300. And I remember when Nvidia ran up all the way to over $1,000 per share and they did a 10-to-1 stock split. And if you're not familiar with what a 10-to-1 stock split is, let's say you have a whole pizza. They decided to split the shares into 10 separate pieces. So you still have a whole entire pizza, but all they did was split the shares up so it's more affordable for retail investors like you and I. So those shares that you're able to purchase, you're able to purchase them at a much more affordable rate than you were beforehand, although that the market cap has not changed. So Nvidia is one of the companies that I highly suggest because I remember when Nvidia ran up from $100 to $1,000, and I remember buying at $500 and being able to double my money because I was able to hold and withstand the times of trial when it would go down 20%, but it would skyrocket up 100. So you have to understand that these are companies that you should consider investing in. Nvidia is currently sitting at $158 per share. I remember when it was much lower than that, and I'm going to continue to add to my position because it solely focuses on AI. AI is slowly starting to take over the market. AI and technology will soon become the reason that the stock market is going to continue to rise. Over the last 2 years, the stock market has been solely carried on the Magnificent Seven. And in the Magnificent Seven, it is solely going to be technology and AI companies. So those are the companies that you want to focus on when you're investing, because I'm trying to tell you it's not hard to outperform the S&P 500. You just have to find a few simple stocks, evaluate those companies, consider adding them to your portfolio, and this could be the reason that you're able to outperform the S&P 500. I mean, some of the stocks that I'm covering in this video, I'm up 350% or 400% on my portfolio. The S&P 500 is only going to be able to return 8 to 12% a year, but I've been able to do much more than that and surpass it greater than anybody would have ever expected, solely because I did the knowledge, and I'm doing the knowledge so I'm able to bring forth the knowledge, and you can look at these companies after I present them to you. Do the evaluations, consider adding them to your portfolio. A lot of these companies that I'm covering in this video are going to be AI technology companies. Do you believe that AI is the future? I know I do. I know many other smart people or many other major investors that do believe this. The same way that people were sitting back thinking, is technology going to take over the marketplace? It's the same way that people are sitting back thinking today, is AI going to take over the marketplace? And I solely believe that it's not only going to take over the marketplace like technology, but I think it's going to surpass all the growth that technology has already done. I think that AI will soon become the greatest thing to ever happen in the stock market, next to the Industrial Revolution or next to the technology boom. So all the companies that I'm covering in this video happen to be AI technology companies because I believe that you can benefit from them greatly. If you're sitting back wondering if AI is a threat to your livelihood, or if it's a threat to your job or your position, or if you can be replaced, don't sit back and just wonder or think and fear that you're going to get your job taken. But you need to do the initiative and figure out, how can I benefit from AI rather than just sitting back and doing completely nothing. These are 3 companies that are completely revolving around AI. And I want you to be able to benefit the same way that I have in the last couple of years by taking a look at these companies, consider investing in them, and so you can be able to get great returns the same way that I have. You can even go up 300 or 400% if you invest at the right times and hold for the long term. Now that we're nearing the end of the video, I want to touch on briefly how you can actually start to begin to invest in these companies in the strategy that I would personally use. So for some of these companies, you already identify that they're good companies, the revenue is continuing to grow, and you believe in it long term, but you want to start to build out a position. So this is what I would do. I would begin to buy daily or even weekly or monthly on a dollar cost average basis. And then when the stocks go down, maybe in a recession, maybe we have another tariff war, or there's another war going on outside of the US, I would take that information, I would wait for the stock to go down 10, 20, 15%, whatever it may be, and I would start to buy and start to bring out the Brinks truck to where I have all this cash that I've been sitting on. I've been sitting on it. I've been getting my paycheck. Maybe I put away 20%, 10%, 50%. Me personally, I put around 90% of my income away. But if you want to take that money, you want to implement that money when it's down 10, 15, 20% to lower your average cost. So then over years and years to come, when these stocks begin to 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, and maybe even 10x, you'll have such a low average cost that your money would triple, quadruple, and do whatever it has to do, more than you would have ever imagined. And you will be able to outperform the S&P 500. I'm here to tell you that it's not easy. All it takes is discipline, hard work, understanding, and you have to do the education. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you watched it all the way through, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you never miss an update. Remember that I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.